Hi guys, welcome to Financial Algebra. Today we're going to be working with the profit function. Um, so just looking at our objectives, today we're going to better recognize the graphical representation of a cost function, a revenue function, and a profit function. And the success criteria is graph a cost function, a revenue function, and a profit function. And then also interpret a cost revenue profit functions graph and find and interpret the break-even point. Also, just a reminder, ACT test is all juniors on April 28th. That's at the PLCC, which is near CCA. And then graduating seniors, your checkout is May 8th, which is 3 weeks and a bit. And then if you're going to be graduating, then your graduation is on May 14th. Otherwise, class ends on the 20th of May, which is another 5 weeks. 5 weeks. Okay. Anybody have any questions for me at this moment? Okay, so the poll, like I said, we will discuss the poll as we get into the webinar more. And then we're going to look at what the students have put for the discussion question. Discussion question is describing your own words how cost, revenue, and profit relate to each other. When does fifth block start? You're going to ask me a hard question? What a horrible question to ask me. I think it starts on the 26th, the day after Labor Day. I think that's when fifth block starts, it's the 26th. Any other good questions? All questions are good if they make you smarter. All right, so I'm going to look at Andrea's part, and Andrea puts the price times quantity and then revenue minus cost, and 0 is the same location as a break even. So she put those things. If we have price times quantity, what does price times quantity equal? It equals either revenue, profit, or cost. Which one is it? Anybody know?
Cost.
Revenue. So I'm going to go ahead and type that revenue equals price times quantity as a basic function. Okay, and then what is revenue minus cost? I'm going to make that big. Make that big so you knew that was me typing. So we make that 16, well 18. Ooh, that was a good big one. Make it red. Okay, so what is revenue minus your cost? What does that equal? Change that color.
Profit.
It is your profit. Good. Okay, so Geneva already said that. The break-even point is the equilibrium point, and that's good. And then Myra, somebody had it. Oh, there, it's Myra's at the bottom. I wanted to read hers. Cost, revenue, and profit relate to each other because they all have to do with money. And that's true. They all have to do with money, and they all have to do with sales. And so they're all going to have all those parts in them. So we're dealing with price, and then we're going to graphically look at how 0 profit is the same location as a break even, which visually we want to kind of recognize and see. Does anybody have any questions at the moment? I'm hoping that we can make our cost functions and our things like a little more obvious to us, okay? So all of you go ahead and delete what you got. Delete your typing. So I'm going to go ahead and delete my typing too, even though they're super cool. Delete your typing. Okay. So this is kind of memory lane. A cost function has a fixed cost, has a variable cost. Now just remember memory lane, hopefully, and if it's not memory lane, then it's a good thing to remind ourselves. When we are, if I were to have y equals mx plus b, then the fixed cost is actually your b. Okay, your fixed cost is your b. So I'm going to connect that to my fixed cost. And on my graph, this is where my fixed cost is, where it's touching that y-axis. Okay, so I want you to look at your cost function and notice a couple of things. One, it isn't at zero. So if we're going to produce something, we always have some kind of a cost, some kind of a startup cost. Um, Even like if you were to be a lawn mowing business or something like that, you got to have a lawn mower. Um, Unless you inherit it from somebody, then you can go down to zero. Okay, and then let's look at our variable cost. Our variable cost is associated with our slope. So I'm going to go ahead and identify a variable cost, and that's our slope. Okay, so for your lawn mowing business, it depends on how many lawns we mow as to how much gas we use. So that would be a variable cost. Now my variable cost is going to be rise over run, so I'm just going to make some little triangles, rise over run. Make some little triangles. I hope you can see it. Can you see that, Geneva?
Yeah, very faintly though.
Barely. Okay. So you can see that some of them have a longer run than the other one, and so those are gentle slopes. That would mean your variable costs aren't very much. Whereas if you looked at graph D, you have a steeper cost per unit is what it is. Okay, and then this is just memory lane, and if not, then it's new knowledge, which is fine too. Your revenue function, what I want you to identify about your revenue function is it is price times your units sold. And then another interesting thing is this. My revenue always goes through, what's that? It always goes through the origin. Why would our revenue always go through the origin? Why would it always go through the origin? Let's think of it. Anytime you go to work or if you open up the day, how many sales have you made that day? As soon as you open up those doors, none. So that means you have no revenue. Revenue only happens once we make a sale, and until then, we have zero revenue. Okay, so it always starts at the origin, and that's why it always starts. So now we're going to incorporate our break even. We kind of like talked about our break even point. Break even is when we start to make money. That's just kind of a reminder. Here's our break even. When our revenue begins to be higher than our total cost. Okay. And that's when we're like, okay, we're making money now and we can pay our bills. Until then, you can't pay your bills. Well, somebody can, but not you. Okay, so what I want you to look at, so we've looked at what a cost function looks like, what a revenue function looks like, and what a profit function looks like. I want you to tell me something that you notice about this profit function. So go ahead and type it. Something you notice. Just look at that picture. What do you notice? And it can be anything.
If that makes sense.
It is. Good. And Andrea, I don't know if you typed. Nope. That's okay. Good. So you notice it was in the negative. Were any of the other graphs in the negative? No, they weren't. Okay, and the reason why this one starts in the negative is because when you're starting a business, it costs you money, like upfront money. So then you lay out money to start your business and you have to sell X number of products, whatever it is, before you go, okay, now I've met my costs. Now I can start to make a little bit of money. So we're going to look at all three of these together. So good job. You did notice that they started the negative. I was noticing the line was blue, which isn't very helpful, but anyway. And then Myra, they start at the negative side, but as they sell, they actually get money. Right, so good. So this is the quantity that we're selling. This is also my break-even point, by the way. Oh, I spelled it wrong. I was going to spell B. Oh, I totally made hers go away. Sorry. Totally made Andrea's go away, or maybe she did, and it's just messing with me. Anyway, why is this like not going away? There, made it go away now. So break even. In other words, this is where we start making money. Okay, so let's go look at all three graphs put together and see what we can identify from all three graphs put together. Can you guys see those graphs very well? Can you see the numbers very well?
No, no, no.
Can't see the numbers at all. It's a bummer. Let's see if I can make it bigger. Can you see the numbers now?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Kind of,
Okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to reinforce what some of these numbers are. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so this is ice cream bars being sold. Can't even tell what those numbers are up there, can you? Yeah, you can. That's not bad. They're all going to go away as soon as I click. So now I'm going to totally click away and they're all going to go away. So I'm going to ask you several questions on this particular one because otherwise my numbers are going to disappear. Which one, oh, let's put this one in there too. There. Which one of those graphs, and take your guess and take your pick and type what you think, which one is going to be the cost function, the red, blue, or green line? So everybody pick what one you think it is. Oh, totally made that awesome. I gotta change colors. So we said cost function, people pick the red line, blue line. Why blue line, why red line? So now you have to defend your answer. Why did you pick the red or the blue line? Oh, I totally screwed up on something. Okay. So the cost function actually is the red one. So let's go ahead and type cost function on here. Actually the red one, and the giveaway is where it starts. Okay. Notice that it was at 40,000, and I know you can see that number. But the giveaway was the cost function always has fixed costs, and so that's where it starts. And I like my graph in the colors because cost function is red, meaning you're spending money. Not meaning, that's just me. So which one would be your revenue? Wait, hold on. Revenue? Is that the right word? Yeah. Which one is your revenue function? And defend your reason. Good. So good. The revenue function, it starts at 0, so you're not making money at the beginning, but as you go through the day or selling or whatever it is, that you're bringing in money. Now remember, revenue doesn't mean that you are making money yet. It just means you're bringing money in. Now, I'm going to give you a tricky question now. What one is the profit function? Adrian's got a little sense of humor there. Doesn't know which one it is because he's being smart alecky. And I was typing green, that's funny. So this one is a profit. Okay. Now that we've identified what all the functions are, where all the lines are, I want you to look at that picture and is there anything you notice about the lines, about the picture, just about anything? Is there anything you notice? Okay, I like Myra's answer too. She's funny. She's got sense of humor there too. They cross, okay, where it breaks even, and I'm going to ask you to clarify what you mean by breaks even.
On the green. Do you want me to type it or say it?
Type it just because it's hard for them to hear it, and then like in the recording they're like, I don't know what she said, and then they think we're having secrets. Okay, and Andrea, they don't drastically change. And all of these ones are linear, and not all cost functions. Not all functions. I need to get rid of this. Totally need to make this one go away because we're not specifically talking about cost function. Poof, made that go away. Totally awesome.
It was ice cream cones, right? Oh, ice cream
Yeah, oh, good job. You can read that. I can't. Okay, they all end up on the positive side. Cool. So at 30,000 or close to there is when they start making money. So that's your break even. I like that observation. I'm going to come and put a line there.
It's more like 35 or something like that.
It is.
Close
It's
enough,
30.
close enough.
Oh, shoot. That's not even the color I want. How did I pick the color? Okay, they never go down because we're just hoping, they make money. And remember, those are just like a generally-ish stuff. So my purple line that's there, what do you notice about what's going on around my purple line? I'm going to move it up a bit just for fun. It does, it crosses all 3 lines. At a special location. What's the special location? Geneva hinted at it earlier. Well, she totally didn't hint at it, but she totally spilled the beans. And I think correct typing. Okay, good job. Good job, guys. So I need to get a color that's not already on there. Orange. Totally gotta go for orange. Okay, make this bigger too. So here is that point there. I'm going to write it up here. That's your break even. That's your break even point where your cost function crosses your revenue function, or your revenue function crosses your cost function, whichever one. And notice what's going on below it on the green line. What happens with your profit function at the break even point? Yeah, it goes above the zero. So this is where we begin to make money. This is now all of a sudden, all of your expenses are being paid. You're no longer in debt to everybody and their dog, if there's dogs around. Maybe there's no dogs around, but there might be. And so I'm going to highlight where you're making no money. You're not making money in this area. See how that's a negative? See how negative that is? See how ornery that is? And then we're going to go ahead on the right side of our break-even point. This will be what we call our profit margin. Okay, so in other words, above that red line is the extra money we're making. Okay, so even though our profit, and you can see that down here matches the same, it looks the same. So that is the profit, that's our takeaway, that's our take-home pay. And then you distribute that to, you know, investors and all those other cool people. Does anybody have any questions on that? I'm hoping that by going through this kind of step by step, that when you come across it in the units, that it'll start to make sense and become easy-ish, because these things were always a little bit challenging for me. So we already talked about revenue function, profit function, break even. From our poll, that's not profit. That was our revenue. But our profit is our revenue minus our costs. And then I didn't say it very well. Like that didn't define it very well. It's the same location. It's the same X location, not the Y location, but it was the same X location. Okay, so let's go and let's try. Those ones are just too hard to see. So I'm going to show you where these points are at 17 something and 4,500. It's right there. What's going on at that point? As far as, are we making money? Are we losing money? Are we what?
You're still paying for your.
It's okay. Good job. Good job. So yeah, we got to get after that 33. So I'm going to go ahead and identify my profit function. See, we're below the x-axis, and so we are like, and that's how much money we're still losing. Like this profit function tells me that we're losing around 20 grand at this point. Okay, so we still haven't come to where we're making money. So let's go to the next one. And I'll go ahead and identify where that spot is. Change my colors. I'm going to 52 something and up to 55 something. 52 something and 55 something. Here we are. So that's that specific point that's above there that's talking about the blue one. You're getting money now. Do you know how much money we're getting? Probably not, because you can't tell. I'm sorry. I was hoping those numbers would come through a lot better, and they just didn't. But the difference between our profit or our cost and our revenue is that one, which is identified as this one as well. So good job, guys. So that's the main thing. The assignment, like it sounds harder, but it really is just like pulling off those parts. One more question though. I want to see what you guys come up with, and I'm going to go somewhere else. So everybody take a grid and see if you can come up with, okay, so this was our cost function. Keep going, keep going. This was our model function, remember, with the 3 lines on it. So I want you to come up with your own 3 lines. Let me get to it. Let me get to it. Can you see that? Can you read the blue thing? So I want you to come up with a cost line, a revenue line, a profit line, and then it says, oh my goodness, that guy's making a ton. He has practically no cost, fixed or variable. He's charging an arm and a leg, and his paper robots are selling like wildfire. What would be a graph that would kind of represent that? Everybody's is going to look a little bit different. You should all be able to draw on these. You go and you do, not that. I'm going to make them so you can all draw. You select the right corner and you click draw. And so everybody should be able to draw on one. And is that one not working? Is that one not working? So, and then the way that you get the line is you click the rectangle and you click it until you find the line, and then you pick the line. Then you can change colors. So if I was to do a low cost, low whatever, I'd have a line that's kind of like that. Okay, so the bottom 3 are letting you draw. For some reason the top left isn't. Whoever's trying to take the top left, go ahead and take the entire PowerPoint. Okay guys, so try. And then so you're going to want to have 3 lines on there. Like I say, the top left is going to be hard, so go ahead and take mine, the PowerPoint, and draw on it. Okay, good. And if you select the rectangle and wait till it drops down, then you can get a solid line, which is the ones I was using. Or you can draw them, I don't care, but you can see they're hard to draw lines when you're using a mouse or something. I wonder why this other one didn't work. And then don't forget you want your revenue function and you want your price or your profit function. Good. I know it's hard, it's like not comfortable doing it because, you know, you haven't done it before. Why is this being grr? Okay. Oh, nice. I got this one to work. See all these cool colors? You can erase if you pick the arrow. If you pick the arrow on the top left of your little window, then it lets you select stuff. And then you can just delete it. You can also do Control Z and all that other good stuff. Oh, totally went away. And green. Yeah. I'm just glad you guys are trying. It makes me happy. Okay. So now that everybody's tried, let's vote. What graph do you like the best? And you'll have to type in the chat because totally took over your other stuff. Oh, and stuff just totally disappears on things, huh? That's a little bit annoying. I like the bottom right as well. Now, what I like about the bottom right is that the green line isn't really far down. I also like the one whoever wrote on the PowerPoint. That worked out pretty good. And then where it's crossing that x-axis, it's close to where that break-even point is. And so those are some of the things that I would look for, say, as a teacher, if I was looking to see if you got the idea, because where it crosses that x-axis for the profit line should be directly below your break-even point. Cool, guys. So on your assignment, you have a problem that actually is the same problem. And then you also have this one where we won't do this one because we ran out of time. It says, I don't see how that guy can stay in business. All his costs are enormous, and he seems to be charging for every little thing, very little for his product. So if he had like enormous costs, I would have something that's like a lot higher up there. And then if he's not charging very much, then the revenue is going to start at 0 and work its way a little bit. And then you can see where that's not going to, it's going to take a really long time to cross. Actually, I'll never cross because those lines aren't, those lines are like they're not going to merge, right? So they're never going to cross. So that guy actually would never make a profit. His profit function would be negative and keep going into the hole. Anyway, but you could, all those cool things. So anybody have any questions? Pretty much done. Anybody know what TTFN means?